margin was slightly tighter than I think she would have liked. It wasn't that far ahead. The 1997 result, when William Hague got just a fraction under what Liz Truss did compared to Ken Clarke. And it does emphasise that she doesn't have her whole party with her. And we're just talking about the members there, never mind the MPs, where even more so she doesn't. So to me, that was one. And then she didn't expand at all on what she might do to help support people through the cost of living crisis. And so there was an element to me, again, where she still seemed to be talking to the party as opposed to the country. She's going to have difficulties with her parliamentary party, with those MPs. Depends how she forms her cabinet, but from the indications we've had, it's very much in the mould of the policy she wants, very much free market, libertarian. Her people, not Boris Johnson's people, and that's not a recipe for bringing it all together. She does know she has an election to fight in 2 years' time, and so is going to now want to be crafting policies that really appeal to the whole country. And that's where it's going to be difficult, because Boris Johnson put together an unusual coalition of people who liked his optimism, who liked his promises for levelling up and money that came with it. And he reached into many parts of the country the party hadn't. And she's going to be trying to salvage some of that while forging her own identity as Prime Minister. She certainly doesn't have the wide popularity that Boris Johnson did at the beginning of his premiership, before he began being Prime Minister, with all that entailed in his particular case. I think every road comes back to cost of living at this point. And if she delivers, to use her word, on that, then you might see the mood getting much more positive. But at the moment, you've got people deeply rattled, many very, very afraid, going into a year where all they can see is rising costs, some of them not able to bear those right now. And until she's got an answer on that, she doesn't have a claim to the popularity of the country, I think. Question about Liz Truss is whether, when she begins speaking to the country, she's going to sound different in any way from what she did in the campaign for leadership. And she said right at the beginning of her speech, I campaigned as a Conservative, I'm going to govern as a Conservative, implying that she's aware of this tension and that she intends no difference. But the Conservative Party members wanted that message of tax cutting. The country, I would guess, less so, because the problem with tax cuts is they benefit primarily people who are working, and they don't always lead to in fact, often lead to the kind of growth that she's saying will automatically flow. And it doesn't give any answer about what to do about people who are really, really struggling, who are not going to be much help by tax cuts. So she's going to have to say an awful lot more. And we just don't know at this point what those answers are going to be. And she's speaking in the face of considerable skepticism from many, many economists.